welcome to today's session. We're just gonna leave about one more minute for people to roll in, and then we'll get started. Welcome, everyone. We'll get started in about 30 seconds here. Brilliant. So we might have a couple joinees a little later, but I'm very happy to welcome everyone to today's special session. Today we're going to talk about Alibaba.com's advertising tools. Now, this is quite a special session because for today's sharing, we've invited both people interested in Alibaba's solutions as well as those who are presently using Alibaba.com. So it's a bit of an advanced topic, and I would like to welcome everybody to feel very free to ask questions through the chat, and we will try to get to everybody's questions at the end of the session. Great. So I'll be your host today. My name is Eric Cross. I work for Alibaba North America GGS. This is actually my 9th year at the company, and I'm very happy to be working lately with US businesses. I've held other roles previously, including global category manager. I've run a service team and even a direct sales team in the past. So I really think that today we're going to look into some content that should be quite interesting, both on a high level as well as in some specific detail. So without further delay, let's jump into it. So we're going to start by looking at just a little bit of background about Alibaba.com. It's impossible to even focus on a specific topic like advertising without understanding Alibaba in its full group context. So just to get us started, our mission is to make it easy to do business anywhere. And just to narrow that down a little bit, what is typically meant by this is lowering barriers for global trade, particularly for SMBs doing business in the B2B industries. We enjoy patronage from over 150 million registered buyers around the world. The most active 40 million of those buyers are regularly ordering and submitting inquiries for custom orders at least every couple of months. So it's a very active global buyer base. Our supply base covers just about every category under the sun, with a specific focus on B2B quantities. Where Alibaba.com sits in the global group mix, well, we were actually the very first business unit in Alibaba Group, formed back in 1999. Again, the mission has really not changed much. Back 25 years ago, the short-term goal was to get global buyers connected with OEM supply that was not available in traditional avenues, especially without traveling to China, to a manufacturing hub, or visiting fairs and such in overseas markets. Now, Alibaba simplifies the global sourcing process, lowers the switching costs, as well as limits the pain felt by businesses who are exploring export and import opportunities. So where this all has led us today is coverage of, like I said, just about every category under the sun, 40 plus industries, roughly 6,000 product categories and subcategories. And daily, our platform generates over 300 million business opportunities for our customer base. So why is B2B so exciting? Well, it's really just a question of value. The global B2B value traded is roughly 6 times that of the D2C market, meaning that there's really a lot of opportunity on the table. And Alibaba limiting the barriers to entry to these value chains for SMBs has really allowed our customers to access those opportunities. Where we stand today here in North America is a very slow on-ramp to digitization. And by slow, I mean only about 17% of shipments in the United States, for instance, emanate from any type of digital or e-commerce original cadence. It's a little bit more developed in the D2C space. We're all very familiar with major D2C players here. Who've really pioneered those spaces and solutions for the U.S. market. But even that is only around 25% of all shipments in the United States. And this is really a symptom of lack of digital omni-channel commitment. So to put it in no other way, only around 60% of manufacturing businesses even do anything in the e-commerce realm. And the very vast majority of small businesses in general in this market do not even run a pure play website. While we're very happy to see this trend changing ever since the onset of the recent pandemic, there's still a lot of room for growth and seizing those opportunities in this space, in this market. So I will just give a little bit of background about what it means to be buying or selling or both on Alibaba.com. So the reason that the value traded in B2B is so enormous compared to that of D2C is really because the value chains are more complex. There are a lot more value added steps in a traditional B2B value chain compared to a D2C one, which is typically retail to consumer. And every single node here on this chart, nobody's turning the lights on or doing business for less than a 15-20% margin. Whereas D2C, often you see you see the prices forced down because of inventory or because of new offers coming out. And what this really means is an extra marketing spend goes into clearing out old inventory and making room for the new offers. And what Alibaba really focuses on here is all of these nodes upstream of that retail. So should you be a business in a B2B value chain and interested in finding new potential partners downstream to sell to, Alibaba is a good place to explore. On the other hand, should you be looking to improve your supply base, maybe skip one or two steps on the value chain and enjoy a higher margin yourself, then Alibaba is another tool, or has many tools that can help you find those more competitive suppliers. We've developed quite a lot since 1999, essentially evolving from a directory similar to a Yellow Pages for OEM manufacturing to what we have today, which is a full suite e-commerce marketplace, which offers all of the common functionalities that you would be used to, as well as quite a few that are specific to Alibaba. We have 20 languages, multi-language support with automatic translation. We have payment and transaction support, and so on. We noticed that the buyers on Alibaba.com, those 40 million active buyers, are looking to accomplish one of three things primarily. Either they are looking to create a product that they would like to sell. It could be a new product, it could be a prototype, but they're looking to find a capable manufacturer who can make something new for them. Or they are simply a trading company looking to secure more competitive supply because they can enjoy whatever capabilities they have to then resell those products. It could be an arbitrage move across national lines. or it could just be non-traditional supply into distribution spaces. And finally, there are business end users as well, think hotels, schools, hospitals, and so on, who are looking for competitive supply to power their business. Overall, Alibaba.com has tools and support to accommodate all of these use cases. And what we really strive to do is to make sourcing as streamlined as possible and generate more opportunities for buyers and suppliers to do business together. Just to give you a sense of some of the tools that we won't go into detail about today, and also some of the concerns that buyers stated that they care about the most when looking into new supply. Of course, things like pricing will be the case regardless of channel or context, really, price, quantity. But then there's other items like reliability, ease of doing business, and if we're in an international context, that can have a lot to do with legal jurisdictions, how nearby the companies are, what kind of tariffs and trading terms are in place. And so having access to a global supply base can really maximize the options that businesses have to collaborate. So today we are going to focus on just one avenue of generating business on Alibaba.com, and that is our advertising suite. So just to start from square one, every sales pipeline looks roughly like this, right? Where you need to get some interest, generate some conversions, and then develop, cultivate, and close a deal. Now, on Alibaba or e-commerce channels in general, you're going to see that there's a slightly different mix of tactics. So here you can see some of the suggested actions to take to move an opportunity further down the pipeline. Some of these are organic. In fact, most of these you can do on Alibaba.com without paying an extra dollar for anything. But what you will notice is that there are good justifications to if you're trying to maximize the top of funnel, let's say, or you're trying to get the attention of more capable buyers and do more specific targeting than you can achieve organically. Oh, sorry. Here we go. So how do the different advertising elements look, and also where do they sit for the buyers? Where do they interact with them? Well, the first and foremost use case, of course, is the search results. This will be familiar with any search engine you use, even YouTube and Google, of course, as well as other e-commerce channels. So some of you will be familiar with Amazon's brand-sponsored banner. We have a very similar offering, which is called the top brand banner. And this is a very powerful tool that we will get into some detail on a little later. But just for now, just know that this is at the very top of up to 15 different search results, depending on the products and keywords that you are operating. It's also very modular, and I'll show you what I mean by that in a moment. Premium sponsored ads are guaranteed top slots in the search results for a product search, and you can attribute up to 5 products to those. These are very cost-effective ways to dominate search early on in your membership. You might be thinking you want to deploy big on the marketplace and quickly dominate a category or a subcategory, especially in some terms that you are already quite competitive on. Well, this is just a very good way to quickly develop that pipeline. And finally, not to forget our keyword advertising, which is going to be familiar with other keyword advertising tools you've used. It's a fairly straightforward system, and I'm going to show you a little later on how that can be used to generate those opportunities. So I'm just going to show you a typical buyer journey on Alibaba.com. Excuse me. Here it will usually start on a search, which I mentioned just a moment ago. and then the filtering kicks in. So buyers are not typically only contacting one supplier to ask about their capabilities or pricing or something to that effect. Oftentimes, a buyer will find 5 to 10 suitable, what they consider suitable prospects, contact them, and then start the evaluation and comparing phase. Now they could be they could be in touch with 5, 10 suppliers about a very specific product type, and simply trying to get the best quote possible. They could also be shopping among these suppliers for specific capabilities that they lack, that they would like to be able to offer. And one thing to take away from this is the journeys are not linear. Typically, a buyer will come back to product details pages. We have a favorite button so that it can be saved and returned to. And also, a lot of buyers will look at a product details page and they won't take action on it. They will instead go and visit the supplier's storefront to see the rest of their capabilities and the rest of their offerings in case there's a slightly closer fit, or if they want to determine whether or not a supplier could customize a new offering for them. And later down, you will typically see that the buyers will return to that product details page, initiate an order, or simply contact that supplier on their storefront. So things to consider when you are planning to deploy advertising on any e-commerce marketplace, really, but I'm going to be specific to Alibaba.com here. Of course, you don't want to advertise something that's not a finished product, right? So if you don't have enough products listed, we would not encourage you to start advertising them. And we would call it cutoff around 60 unique listings on your storefront, pretty healthy. Now, you also have an additional benefit for continually posting products. New listings receive more organic traction. And that doesn't mean that you can't advertise those new ones as well for an amplified effect. Of course, let's say that you're trying to determine if you need to start advertising this month, right? So you have your 60 products up or more, you have a storefront built, and you're happy. You want buyers to see that. Well, if the buyers aren't finding your storefront through search results, because maybe you're on page 3 or page 4, then you might consider trying to just add a little gasoline to that top of funnel. If you look in your industry reports, you can review your metrics in your analysis sections of your My Alibaba backend. Now, if you see that compared to competitors in the same industry or same category, you're not getting the same amount of opportunities or the same amount of traffic, it's most likely because the average merchant in your category is advertising, and it's very difficult to compete if a large base of suppliers is advertising and you're not. So we're going to start by looking at these various tools. The 3 that I mentioned, KWA, so keyword advertising, premium sponsored ads, which I'll also refer to as PSAs, and finally those brand sponsors. So KWA would be the most commonly utilized advertising tool on Alibaba.com, probably the most commonly used advertising tool type out on the internet today. Where you see these depends on the premiums that you are bidding for. It depends on the keywords that you're operating. It depends on the regions that you're targeting. So let's say that you've done a good job setting this up. You're going to start to see in the first 3 to 5 results keyword placements. And here's some examples of how that will look on PC compared to the mobile app or the web app. So I decided to use the example of setting up a custom campaign. We actually have multiple methods to initiate one of these advertising campaigns. One of them is actually AI driven. But that would be a very short, very short segment to share, because you basically just turn it on and it reviews your products and your keywords, and it puts together a campaign on your behalf. It even helps you with targeting. but I will do the manual version for you today, just to give you a little more insight into how the tools work. So you are typically recommended to focus either on high potential products, meaning that the information score that is generated when you publish that product is high enough that you're not going to be pushing a product that will have low conversions. So you can check your product growth system and see which products you have are high potential, and really the only thing holding them back from being one of your top products is a little bit more buyer engagement. So strategically, those would be the products that you want to boost a little bit more. Once you've selected the products that you want to include in your campaign, then you're going to set your budget. Now, you can set daily budget, weekly budget, or you can set up a total campaign budget, up to you. The only requirement really here is that it's a $20 daily minimum. But $20 can get you pretty far depending on how well you've set up your targeting. You can compare in your industry analysis section popular keywords with the keywords that you have in your products. Oftentimes, prior to deploying this campaign, you're going to want to bake in a few extra keywords. It's possible that something that you omitted is actually trending and it is relevant to the products, and you would just be highly recommended to put those in. Other types of reasoning for selecting products to include could be a new product type that you've listed that you think is going to be quite popular. It could be an underperforming product type that you are confident in, you're just not seeing the traction that you would like to see yet, and you want to explore avenues to just scale that deployment across. And finally, you're going to start looking into the types of premiums that you want to bake into your campaign. And the two types here being regional premiums. Let's say that you're focused entirely on the North American region. Well, that means that you need to include those countries into your campaign, and you can block off everything else should you like. And finally, there are also buyer behaviors that can be employed as premiums as well. Let's say that you want to start a lot of conversations in a short time. If that's the outcome that you're going for, then you probably want to use a buyer premium like fast response, or typically follows up within a day. All right, so the premium sponsored ads, this is a very powerful tool early on. One of the nicest things about it is it doesn't require you to do very much maintenance. So these are valid for 12 months at a time, and you book them at a fixed price, or you book them at a price that doesn't change through the 12 months. You pay once, and the pricing is informed by popularity and how much traffic these keywords are generating today. And the longer tail keywords that you choose, typically the price comes down quite significantly. Now, if you're fairly new to digital advertising, then this is really a book, and once it's activated, you don't really need to take any action on it. Just monitor, make sure that it's converting a little bit, or make sure it's converting. And should you need to do a little bit of optimization, maybe switch in a different product, switch in some product pictures, add some keywords, and so on. But you don't need to really roll up your sleeves and create a new campaign for every one of these, which is quite nice. It gives you more time to focus on the inbound opportunities that it's generating. The way this works is no other seller on the platform, if you book one of these keywords, is able to book that keyword. You have the guaranteed top slot, and there's just one on PC and one on app. How to find one of these? So if you're looking at a search results page on Alibaba.com and you want to see if one of these is a premium sponsored ad, look for this little crown icon. The crown indicates that it's a premium sponsored ad. Sometimes it'll have a text next to it called premium sponsored ad or top sponsored listing, depending on the size of your screen. This again, you can dominate more than one search, but you're really going to own that keyword for the duration of a year. And finally, these top slots convert over 1/3 the clicks compared to the next highest slot. So again, the next slot on a typical search result is going to be a KWA module, and this module is one of those how would you say, the pricing, the premiums on all these factors that go into placement means that it's quite a competitive one to achieve. But all of that work and time that goes into achieving this placement, actually it's not as effective as just simply booking a premium sponsored ad. So who are these really most useful for? The top suppliers in an industry would like to book some of these just to make sure that new players aren't stealing their thunder or getting the leads that they have been enjoying historically. So should you have a good position in an industry, some of these can really generate a lot of impressions, clicks, and opportunities. And then inversely, if you're a brand new supplier on Alibaba.com and you're just looking to quickly establish a funnel, this is an excellent tool to consider. The last type of advertising tool, and it's also the newest advertising tool for Alibaba's global sellers, is called the sponsored brands or sponsored brand banner. So what this banner is it's actually a modular bit of real estate that you get where you can put in different videos, you can put in different products, you can design this pretty much however you like. This one can dominate up to 15 searches for specific key terms, and you can attribute a lot of products to that. Now, this is a very good tool for a company who's got a lot of supply within a category, or just a lot of broad offerings. So think an OEM for, let's say, power banks might have dozens of sizes, and you just want to make sure that whichever size someone's looking for, this is the top result. And then on the other hand, you might be a general distributor. A general distributor might want to have one of all of the top 10 categories on the in e-commerce or that they carry present in this module. And this also is co-marketed by our traffic division, meaning that we leverage these modules to bring incremental traffic from other search engines to your storefront. And so this means that while the premium sponsored ad is guaranteed to generate roughly 100% of the impressions for a given keyword, the brand banner has the potential to generate multiple times that. And here are a few examples of use cases for those for those sponsored brand banners. As you can see, they're quite different. A couple of these look fairly familiar, but you'll see that they've used or they've employed very different modules to affect this and follow their brand identity. So regardless of the industry, regardless of whether they want to put videos or photos or product groups, there's a lot of ways that you can use this. So before we wrap for today, or before we jump into the Q&A session, I just want to let everybody know if you want to join Alibaba and leverage these advertising tools, it's actually a fairly simple process. We recommend in the first step that you have a conversation with someone from our team, or simply look at the detailed pricing plans. I'll share a link with you guys here in a moment. Once you know the plan that you're joining on, you find the one that's the best fit for your business, then you simply onboard by clearing what we call business verification. So we do our step of diligence for our global buyer base to make sure that this is a business that is in the B2B space, is a legitimate business and can do can do the types of orders and products that they are aiming to advertise. Finally, almost every single one of our programs includes assisted product posting and storefront design. And this is fantastic because remember that 60 product milestone. Well, this gets you either all the way there and then some, or just about all the way there. So you really end up with a plug and play situation where you can get started and start getting opportunities early on. Once you're started, you're still at the very bottom of that learning curve. So we would like to invite you to join more of these types of sessions that we dedicate to our in-service sellers. We have one program called Alibaba Seller Training e-course. Highly recommend it. If you have a junior operating team, they can learn a lot about e-commerce in general from this program. And then simply suss out your Alibaba operating model. Make sure it's harmonized with your offline business model. And then when you have narrowed down the tools that you want to leverage and which daily operations you're going to focus on, be consistent. It pays dividends to be consistent. And so I'll just put it here 3 times for you. So we have a variety of packages. Again, I'll share the link to all of our commercial programs here in a moment. I will just mention here that the Verified Supplier Program is our flagship package globally, and it's a bit of an invite-only program since it is geared toward manufacturing businesses. In fact, they verified manufacturers or verified suppliers can have their products on a separate search engine only for verified suppliers. All right, so that concludes the prepared material for today. And provided anybody is interested in learning more about our commercial programs, simply scan this QR code, and you will be directed to the US seller page. And so with that, I would like to open the floor to questions, should they be present. Fantastic. So let me wrap by reminding everyone to scan the link here and take a look at our programs. And thanks for joining today.